Hello everyone. Very good morning. Hope you're all doing fine. So first of all, many thanks for joining us on our workshop. Thank you so much for spending your time in registering during your busy schedule because your participation means a lot to us here at Manage Engine. So we, the AD Solutions team, hope to make sure that this session is going to be valuable and you will gain something out of it. I welcome you all for today's session on AD Manager Plus. I hope that my voice is audible and the screen is well and clear. If not, kindly let us know through the chat. So let me introduce myself. My name is Anu and I am your presenter for the day. So I'm pretty sure that you all know about this series for AD Manager Plus workshop. This is workshop number 4, the fourth of the 5 workshops that we are conducting this month. So in the past 3 weeks, we were looking on various ways with which you can make your task related to your Active Directory administration very easy with the help of AD Manager Plus. So in week 1, we were discussing about user provisioning. So we were looking on features with which you can create a single user with 360-degree provisioning and also create users in bulk without any complex scripts. In week 2, we were looking on user account modification. And in week 3, we were looking on Active Directory delegation and help desk business workflow. So in the last 3 weeks, we were focusing mainly on management activities. So this week, let's focus on Active Directory reports. And the topic for today is PowerShell free AD reporting and efficient Active Directory accounts and group membership and NTFS permissions management. Okay, let me quickly share with you the agenda for the day. So on the first half of the session, we will be discussing about PowerShell script-free Active Directory reporting and on-the-fly Active Directory account management. Okay, so I will show you on how you can enforce logon setting for your domain controllers or for some of your file servers for some inappropriate users. So how do I find inappropriate users? This application, that is AD Manager Plus, provides you a plenty of options where you can get the reports based on your requirement. Say for example, you want to find all the inactive users, or say your manager wants to have a look at all of his team members, then you have all those options using AD Manager Plus. The next thing is, in case of a brute force attack, you can enforce a password reset for all your users across the organization and you can update the password policy settings for your domain. And if you have some custom attributes, say for example, if you're an educational institution and you have group codes for all the courses, then if you would like to have a look at it, then you may have to run some AD queries or some scripts using PowerShell or VB scripts in the native Active Directory way. It looks like a kind of hectic task, but without much complexity, AD Manager Plus helps you to have such reports within a matter of minutes. On the second half of the session, we will be looking on permission cleanup activities. Say for example, you can find out and remove inappropriate permissions vested on your user accounts, and also you can find out in order to ensure that no low-level security group is linked iteratively to a top admin group. You can also find out who has access to a confidential share, and if you find it inappropriate, then you can do the cleanup task there. Okay, I hope that this week is going to be much interesting since you will get to know on how you can follow an on-the-go management when you use reporting. So without any further delay, let me take you to the application. Okay, if you have already configured AD Manager Plus, then you can very well make use of it. For those who have not configured AD Manager Plus, let me share with you the URL for the test lab that we have set up and hosted online. Kindly look at the chat window for the URL, and the URL for accessing the test lab is admp.cloudapp.net. I will also be sharing the credentials with you so that you can log into the application and you can have an hands-on experience with AD Manager Plus. The username for logging into the application is ADMP and the password is password at 123 with P capitalized. Okay, kindly log in using workshop domain and not AD Manager Plus authentication. Log in using workshop domain. So I hope you all have logged into the application. Let me log in as well. Okay, so as you all know that when you log into the application, you will be welcomed with the product dashboard. You can see AD Manager Plus has a lot more options that you can use to make your task related to your Active Directory administration very easily. On the first workshop on week 1, in workshop number 1, we were looking on user provisioning that comes under AD management tab. So we were looking on how you can create a single user with 360-degree provisioning of user accounts where you can set Exchange related attributes or Office 365 related attributes all from a single window. And also we were looking on how you can create templates so that you can make use of it whenever you create your users the next time. And also we were looking on how you can create users in bulk without any complex scripts, just with the help of a CSV file. On week 2, in workshop number 2, we were looking on modification. We were looking on various modification techniques that you can make use of if you want to modify, say, a n number of users, say 10 or 20 user accounts, and we were looking all those features in workshop 2. In workshop 3, we were looking on AD delegation. That is, you can set certain tasks to your users in your Active Directory and you can make them perform certain tasks that you want them to do. And also you can enforce certain restrictions either based on attribute level or based on location. You can set such restrictions for all those technicians. And also we were looking about workflow, help desk business workflow, where you can enforce the order of execution for some important administrative task in your environment. So hence you can ensure a request approval and execution pattern whenever an Active Directory operation is being done using AD Manager Plus. So this week we will be focusing on Active Directory reports. So when I say reports, so this Active Directory reports gives you an insight into Active Directory by providing reports on various Active Directory components. Say for example, you have so many reports, n number of reports that the AD Manager Plus offers you. So I will be giving you some use cases so that you can get to know the exact usage of Active Directory reports in AD Manager Plus. As a first thing, say for example, you want to enforce logon restriction for your domain controllers or for your file servers. So you want to provide restriction for user accounts who does not belong to a certain group, say domain admins. So how do I enforce such restriction? I'll show you how. Go to AD reports. There you have a category called group reports. So here you have an option called users not in groups. So when you select users not in groups, this report will give you all the user accounts who do not belong to a specific group. So here if it is already selected as domain admins, so if you wish to select any other groups, you have an option. I mean, you can see a plus icon nearby. So when you click this plus icon, this will open a pop-up that will list all the groups present in your domain. So you can go ahead and search for the group that you want to select. So if I want to select domain admins, you can very well go ahead and select that group and hit OK. So now if you want to generate the report, hit generate button. This will list all the user accounts that do not belong to domain admins group. So now I want to remove these users from logging into certain workstation. So you have an option called More Actions button that you can see here. When you click More Actions, you can select the action to be performed on these user accounts. So what am I going to do now? I have to provide logon restriction for these user accounts. So you have an option called Users Workstations. So in a similar way, if you want to perform any other operation, say you want to reset password for these user account, then you can go ahead and select that option. Or if you want to change the logon hours, for example, these user accounts belong to a shift basis, then you want them not to log into their workstations after the shift hours, then you can very well go ahead and change using logon hours. But now I'm going to I'm going to provide restrictions for logging into a domain controller. Okay, hit go button. So this will take you to a console where you can select the computers that you want to provide restriction to. Okay, so now I am going to select allow selected computers, and then there you have an option remove computers from users. Then go ahead and click the plus icon. So this will list all the computers present in your domain. So I am going to provide restriction from logging into domain controllers. So you can go ahead and select the domain controllers present in your domain. In a similar way, you can select any other workstations or any file servers that you want to remove computers from users. So you can see that there are 45 user accounts who do not belong to domain admins group. So you can very well and go ahead and select all the user accounts. You have an option check all. So when you select this, you can select all these user accounts, and when you hit apply, these user accounts will be restricted from logging into these domain controllers. Okay, the next thing will be very much important. So I'm going to show you how you can reset password for all the user account. So this will be very much important since if your organization expands, you may be exposed to some vulnerabilities and you may encounter brute force attacks sometimes. So now I'm going to show you how you can enforce a password reset for all the users across your organization. So go to AD reports. Okay, there you have all the reports that you can perform in your Active Directory environment. Select all users. So this report will give you all the user accounts present in your domain. So say for example, you do not want to find all the user accounts in your environment, but you want to get all the user accounts in a particular location. So you have an option called add OUs. So when you click add OUs, this will give you a list of organizational units and the containers present in your domain. Say for example, I am going to reset password only for the employees present in Middle East organizational unit. Then you can very well go ahead and select that particular organizational unit, and say for example there are several organizational unit that are that belongs to this employees Middle East, and you just want to get the user accounts present only in employees Middle East, which means you want to exclude the child OUs. So if you want to exclude child OUs, then you have an option exclude child OU. So you can very well go ahead and select this option. But as of now, I am going to display all the user accounts present in employees Middle East. So I have selected employees Middle East and hit OK. So hit generate button. This will give you all the user accounts present in employees Middle East. So you can see that there are 2 user accounts present in employees Middle East. So what do I have to do now? I have to reset password for these user account. So you can see an option, a 3 dotted button. So when you click that, there you can go ahead and select the option reset password. Click go button. So this will take you to the console where you can reset password for the user account. So for those of you who have attended previous sessions, you have known that AD Manager Plus offers several ways with which you can reset password. The first thing is it will it will randomly generate a password based on the complexity that you configured, or you can type in a password or you can make the password same as user logon name, or you can leave the password blank. But leaving the password blank will make these user accounts vulnerable, and I wouldn't recommend you to do this. So I'm going to make use of the native way with which we will set the password. So I'm going to enter the password. Make sure that this password meets the password complexity that you have configured in your domain. And also, since you're manually typing the password for these user accounts, and if you wish that these user accounts should change their password on their next logon, then you can set those options as well. So you can see an option, user must change password at next logon. So you can go ahead and click yes. So in a similar way, you can configure other password options too. Okay, go ahead and select the user accounts that you want to change and hit apply. So now the password is being reset for these user accounts. So if it is successful, you will get the message, or if you have encountered any error, then you can see the error here and you can go ahead and you can check what the exact error is, and you can make changes accordingly. Okay, let me quickly recap what I have done now. So as a first step, want to select all the user accounts. So I want to generate all the user accounts first of all. So go to AD reports. Under user reports category, you have an option called all users. So when you go to all users, you can either select all the OUs, or you can just go ahead and select the OUs for which you want to generate this report for, and click generate button, and then you have to go ahead and select the operation that you want to perform on these user accounts. So since I was resetting password, go ahead and select reset password option and hit go. So this will take you to reset password console. So there you have to just type in the password that you want to set for these user accounts. So this is how you reset password for your user accounts using AD Manager Plus. Okay, the next thing, in the native Active Directory way, if you want to reset password, say for example, you want to reset password for all the OUs in your organization, you have to reset one by one, which looks time consuming, or you may have to run some complex PowerShell scripts. But using AD Manager Plus, you can just go ahead and type in the password and just reset password for all the user accounts. The third thing I'm going to explain is about how you can find any duplicate attributes or any empty attributes in your organization. So go to AD reports. So there you can see options for choosing or for finding users with duplicate attributes. So go ahead and click users with duplicate attributes. This report will be helpful if you think that a particular attribute should not have any duplicate values. Say for example, if your organization is an educational institution, then you may have n number of courses and you have group code for each courses. So you do not want the group code to be duplicated for any other courses. So in a similar way, here I want to ensure that I do not have any duplicate value for employee ID attribute. So when you go to users with duplicate attributes report, there you can go ahead and select the domain from where you want to generate the report, and then you can go ahead and select the attribute. So when you click the plus icon, so this will open a pop-up that will list you all the attributes that are supported in AD Manager Plus. So you can very well go ahead and search for the attribute. Say for example, I'm going to choose employee ID. So go and select employee ID, hit OK. So click generate button. So this will generate all the user accounts with the same employee ID. Okay, there are two user accounts in my environment who has same employee ID. But wait a minute, where do I see employee ID? I just have the display name, I just have the SAM account name and the OU name in which these user accounts reside. But I don't see the employee ID. So how do I get other attributes like employee ID or email address of this user account and all that? Okay, you have an option called add or remove columns. So when you click add or remove columns, you can choose the attributes that you want to display on the screen. Say for example, you want to display the employee ID. So go ahead and select employee ID. And if you want to display the email address, then go ahead and select that as well. Click OK. So this will load the employee ID and email address of these user account. It is you can confirm that the employee ID for these two user accounts is the same. So if you want to change this employee ID, then you have the option to change that as well. So click more action. So since I have configured employee ID as a custom attribute in my environment, so if you want to change any custom attribute, then you have the option to change custom attribute as well. Okay. In a similar way, how do I find users with empty attributes? Go to AD reports. So under AD reports, you have an option called users with empty attributes. So click users with empty attributes. So suppose that there are certain attributes that we may have configured them as mandatory attributes. Suppose if you did not extend your AD schema, your Active Directory schema, you would have missed certain attributes to configure as like you have missed to configure certain attributes as mandatory. Then, for example, employee ID I have configured just now need not be a mandatory attribute in your Active Directory. But if you want to check whether there are any empty attributes or any duplicate attributes, then you can very well make use of AD Manager Plus. So when you click users with empty attributes, so you can select the domain and the location in where you want to put the search query for, and you can select the attribute list. So there are predefinedly given attribute list. So you can very well go ahead and edit these attributes using the edit option. So you can decide what are all the attributes you want to check here. So go ahead and save. So now you can also decide the criteria based on which the search query will be. So say for example, you want to list all the user accounts with empty attributes, say employee ID, postbox. Either you can list all the user accounts with all these attributes empty, or you can list the user accounts with any of these attributes to be empty. So I'm going to choose match all of the selected attributes and generate the values. So this will generate, this will give you all the user accounts with empty attributes with these values to be empty. Okay. So as a next thing, if the user account belongs to a domain admins group or belongs to any other top level group admins in the domain, and if they have not changed their password, say for 60 or 90 days, then the user account and your Active Directory may have the chances to become vulnerable. So the next time when they log on, you want to enforce them to change their password. So how do I do that? So go to AD reports. So there you have options to see the user accounts who have not changed their password. So there you have a category called password reports. So in password reports, you have an option called password unchanged users. Just go ahead and click password unchanged users. Say for example, you want to find all the user accounts who have not changed their password since n number of days, since 90 days or 60 days. Just go ahead and enter the number of days you want to have a look at. And also say for example, now I've entered the number of days as 90. So when I hit generate, this report will give me all the user accounts who have not changed their password for 90 days. So there are 12 user accounts who have not changed their password for 90 days. So suppose that if they belong to any top level admin groups, then there are chances that your Active Directory domain and the user account becomes vulnerable. So go ahead and select the user accounts and then select the button change password at next logon. Using this button, you can enforce these users to change their password when they log on the next time. In a similar way, you have n number of reports, like there are a lot more options with which you want to generate the report for. Say for example, if you want to find the password expired users, then you have all that here. Or if you want to find the users with with password never expires option, then you can go ahead and generate the report as well. So say for example, you as an administrator would have encountered several users in your organization approaching you or your help desk technicians for reset password stating that their password has expired. So instead letting that happen, you can make them change their password when they log on the next time. So say for example, a user's password is about to expire in 7 days. So you can just make them change their password at their next logon, instead letting them come to you for a reset password option. So you have a report soon to expire user passwords under password reports in Active Directory reports. So go to soon to expire user passwords. So there you can configure the number of days you want to check. So you can set the number of days in which the user's password will be expired, and also you can select the location in which that user account, you can select the location from where you want to get those user accounts. So go ahead and hit generate button. So this will list all the user accounts. So there are no user accounts that for whom the password will be expired in 7 days. So you can even change the number of days and go ahead and generate the report. Okay, so there are no users but their password to be expired in these many days. So in a similar way, there are a lot more options that this AD Manager Plus has in for you. Say for example, you as an administrator may have to deprovision your user accounts. Say if a user account is inactive for 90 days or for 60 days, you may have to deprovision the user account. But cleaning up of stale accounts follows a sequence. I'll tell you the sequence now because this is a very important concept for today's session. So as a first step, you will find out all the inactive users present in your domain. So you have an option called Inactive Users under User Reports category in AD Reports. So go ahead and select Inactive Users. So here you can configure the number of days that the user account is inactive for. So it can be the user account can be inactive for last 30 days or for 60 days or for 90 days, or even you can configure a custom period. So I'm going to display all the user accounts that are inactive for last 30 days. Wait a minute, you have some other option as well. So in this report, you do not want to display any of the user account who have never logged in before. So you can just go ahead and exclude those user accounts. And also you do not want to display any user accounts that are disabled. So you can very well and go ahead exclude disabled users as well. So now go ahead and hit generate button. So this will display all the user accounts who are inactive for last 30 days. So if you think you want to clean up these user accounts, so as a first step, you will remove the group memberships from these user accounts. So you have the more actions button. Go ahead and select group attributes. So with the help of group attributes, you can just you can make any modification to the group member of attribute. Go ahead and click. Okay, this will give you a console where you can decide the group membership attributes. Either you can select you can make these users a member of certain certain groups, or you can change the primary group, and you can also remove the group from these user accounts. So now I want to clear all group memberships. So you can go ahead and select clear all group membership options. So this will remove all the groups that these user accounts belong to. Say for example, this user account belong to two security groups, then this user account will be removed from those two security groups. Okay, go ahead, select the user accounts and hit apply. So this option will remove all the group memberships, and you can see that as a next step, after you make modification to the group membership, you may want to move these user account to a OU named resigned employees or inactive users or something like that. So click this more actions button. So go to general attributes. There you have an option called move users. This is for a safety purpose. Suppose instead deleting the user account straight away, you just put them in a different OU for certain number of days. So go ahead and move these user accounts. Okay, so now we are moving these user accounts from from users container to another OU. Say for example, I'm going to move them under, say, do not delete OU. So select do not delete and hit OK. So now when you select all the user accounts and hit apply, then these user accounts will be moved to the specified OUs. And after you move these user accounts, after some number of days, you may want to disable these user accounts. So how do I do that? You have an option called, so like you have more actions option. Either you can go ahead and select the option for disabling this user account, say enable or disable users, and hit go, or you have this option under AD management. So I'll show you that too, but before that let me complete with this process of deprovisioning the user account. So just go ahead and hit go button. So this will take you to the location, take you to the console where you can just enable and disable the user accounts. So now I want to disable the user account. So in this option, enable, disable the account, go ahead and select disable option, select the user accounts and then hit apply. So when you hit apply, these user accounts will be disabled. Okay. And as the next step is you want to delete these user accounts. Okay. Either you can use more actions option or go to AD management tab. There you can perform all these options that I have been doing it for deprovisioning the user account. First thing, I removed the group membership. So you can use group attributes under AD management tab. In user management category, you have group attributes. There you can go and do the operations like management actions on group membership. And also you have an option called move users. So you can move the user accounts to a different container or to a different organizational unit. And then you have to disable the user account. You have the option enable disable users under AD management tab. And as a last step, you have an option delete users. Just go ahead and click delete users under AD management tab. You can just go ahead and search for the user account or import a CSV file with the SAM account name of the user accounts you want to delete, and you can perform the delete operation. So we have seen how you can clean up the stale accounts in your Active Directory. Okay, I'm going to show you the important concept for today, the second half of the session. The first topic we are going to see about is like, if suppose your user account is a member of some low-level security group, which is iteratively a member of a top-level security group. So you want to find out such user accounts and clear their group membership options. So how do I do that? Let me show you how. So let me go to AD Management tab, and there I'm going to select modify single user. So I'm doing this just to show you a sample user account with a group membership with a basic low level security group. So my user account is nested user. So I have configured this user in my domain for an example. So when I click this user account, so you can see all the attributes, all the values for the attributes for this user account. So under account tab, you have the option, you have the member of attribute. So this user account is a member of just two groups, basic group 1 and domain users. So this basic group 1 is a low level security group. So let's go and check whether this user account is a member of any other attributes. The best part about AD Manager Plus is that you can generate reports with various perspectives. Say for example, you can go ahead and display all the user accounts and then see their group membership options, or you can go ahead and select a user and then display all the groups in which they are a member of. So now I'm going to choose groups for users. So when you click groups for users, in this report you just have to select a user. So nested user is already been selected. So when you select the particular user and hit generate button, this will display all the groups that this user account is a member of. So you have just seen only basic group and domain users as member of when you open the properties of this user account. So how come this user account is a member of administrators or domain admins or any other groups? How does this happen? I'll tell you how. This basic group 1 is iteratively a member of domain admins and administrator groups, because basic group 1 is a member of top admin group, and which is in turn a member of domain admins group. So this is how this nested user has all the privileges that an administrator has. But this nested user is just a simple user account with no such administrative permission. So you want to make this user account in such a way, then you have option to do that as well. So go to AD management. So there you can see various options that you can do any modification operations related to your Active Directory user accounts. So go to AD Management tab. Under User Management category, you have an option called Group Attributes. So when you go to Group Attributes, so what am I going to do now? I'm going to make that user account nested user. I'm going to just put that user account under domain users and clear away all the group membership. So you can either manually go ahead and select select the groups that you want to remove, or you can just clear away all the group membership. And now I want to put that nested users user account under domain users group. So go ahead and click the plus icon and select the domain users group. You can search for the group that you want to choose. So I have selected domain users, and now I'm going to make this domain users group as primary group. So you can set the primary group as well. So click the plus icon, go ahead and select the group that you want to make as a primary group. Okay, so and also I'm going to clear away the other group membership. So my user account name is nested user. So I can go ahead and search that particular user account. So now you can see that this user account will be added to domain users group, and it will be removed from all the other group, and the domain users will be the primary group for this user account. Okay, let me go ahead and click apply. So now the group membership attribute is being modified for this user account. So you can see whether it has been successfully modified or not. So you have got an error message here. It's like operation partially successful, which means primary group set for the object. Remove operation successful, add operation fail, which means that this domain users group was already present in nested user, which means this nested user is already a member of domain users group. but the remove operation was successful, which means that I have removed basic group 1 from this user account. Okay, so coming to the last topic for today's session, so it's all about NTFS report. So what is an NTFS report? Consider that you have a folder with confidential share in finance department. So you want to have a look at all the users who have permission to that folder. So how do I see that? I'll tell you how. Go to AD reports. So there you can see an option NTFS reports. So click NTFS reports. So now that you want to find who are all the user accounts who have permission for certain folders. So you have an option permission for folder. So go ahead and select this report. So here you can select the folder for which you want to check the permission for. So you can select the domain first of all, and then you can select the shared resource path. You can go ahead and change the path. So this will display all the workstations or the domain controllers present in the domain. So you can very well go ahead and choose the server, and then you can choose the folder for which you want to see the permissions part. So now I'm going to select confidential share and hit OK. This means that this report will generate the permissions that are vested with this folder. So you can select the level of access. Say for example, it can be up to 5 subfolder levels or 20 subfolder levels. So I'm just going to hit all the subfolders and hit generate. So this will display all the permissions vested on this folder and all the subfolders that reside within confidential share. Okay, so you can see that there are so many user accounts and group who has permission to access this confidential share. So since it's going to be a very important share, since it belongs to your finance department, you do not want these many user accounts to have permission on this folder. So how do I change the folder permissions? I'll tell you how. Go to AD Management tab. So there you have an option called File Server Management. So there you can see Modify NTFS Permissions. So go ahead and click Modify NTFS Permissions. So here you can decide who or all the user accounts will have the permission on specific folders. So now I want to select confidential folder. So go ahead and select the folder from ADMPTC1 server. Like in a similar way, you can choose the server and the folder as per your requirement. Okay, now that I have selected the folder confidential share. So now, first of all, okay, so it has been, I just want to verify whether it has been set correctly. Okay, so now I want to remove all the existing permissions on this folder. So you have an option called remove all existing permissions and apply only the above permissions options. So I'm going to select this option, and this means this will remove all existing permission on the selected folder. Okay. Now I want only administrators to have access on confidential share. Okay, under account, click the select button. So this will display all the user accounts present in your domain. You can very well go ahead and choose the user account. So I am going to choose only the administrator. So I can go ahead and search for administrator, or if not, you can just go ahead and choose the group so that all the user accounts present in that group will have access to this to this folder. So you can see administrators group. So I'm going to select this administrator groups and hit OK. So since this is going to be one single group, I'm going to provide full control permission, or you can decide any permission based on your requirement. So I'm just going to provide full control for this folder and all subfolders and file within this folder. So you can also configure this applies to based on your requirement. So I'm just going to hit this folder, subfolders and file, and you can also decide whether you are going to allow permission or deny permission for this user account. So I'm going to allow permission for this user account. Okay, hit modify. So now the permission for this folder is being modified in your environment. Okay, so as a quick recap, let me tell you what we have seen today. So we have seen how you can generate reports based on your requirement. So as a first step, we have seen how you can generate inactive users or how you can generate all users and set reset password permission. And also we have seen how you can generate users not in groups report. Say for example, if you are a manager and you want to have a look at all the users under your control, then you have an option called manager based users. So when you click manager based users, so you can go ahead and select the manager, and say for example, when you select the manager as admin IT India and hit OK, so when you generate this report will give you all the user accounts, all the users who are a direct reporting to this user account, admin IT India. So in a similar way, you can have all those options, all those reports you want to generate using AD Manager Plus. And as a last thing, we have also seen how you can get the permissions vested on folders and how you can remove permissions for users from accessing folders and all that. Okay, that's all for today's session. And for next session, which will be conducted next week, Tuesday, at the same time, the topic for next session is automate critical Active Directory tasks and also configure iOS and Android apps. So I will be telling you how you can automate certain actions. Say for example, I was telling you a sequence of tasks to be done for deprovisioning user accounts. So instead doing it manually, I will be telling you how you can make it to be done automatically. So how you can automate such Active Directory tasks. So we will be discussing all that in the next session. So I hope you all participate in that session too. So which will be conducted next week, Tuesday at the same time. I hope your participation. And after the end of this session, you will receive a survey form. So I would request you to kindly fill in that survey form. It will just take about 2 minutes. So because your feedback will help us improve and which will help us to meet your requirements. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for participating. And after the session gets over, I will reply to any of the queries that you have. So you can just contact us through the chat window. So we will be available for about 10 minutes. So if you have any queries, kindly get back to us. Kindly get back to us through the chat. And that's all for today. Thank you so much for your participation, because your participation means a lot to us here at Manage Engine. Have a nice day.